everyone, my name is Haley and today I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 different types of art crafts using just coffee filters and different supplies that you can find at home. So let's get started. For our first craft, we'll be using a coffee filter, markers, and water to create diffusion art. Diffusion is what happens when a liquid spreads across a surface evenly. When we add water to our coffee filter after we color it with the markers, the water will spread the colors out across the coffee filter and mix in interesting ways. For this craft, we'll need the following supplies: 1 coffee filter, washable markers, a plastic or metal tray, and a spray bottle or cup of water. If you have cardstock or any thick white paper, you can also lay it behind the coffee filter to create an awesome piece of art once everything dries. So to begin our diffusion art piece, we're going to color a coffee filter with different colors of washable markers, like I've done here. And then we can either start spraying the coffee filter with water and creating our art, or one option is to put a piece of thick paper, cardstock if you have it, and put that underneath the coffee filter. So then when we add our water, it'll also create a really cool watercolor image underneath. So let's go ahead and just spray it lightly, just so that the colors start to bleed onto the paper. And if you don't have the cardstock, you just want to see the colors start to blend together. We don't want to add too much more water because that will create a lot of dripping, and especially if we have cardstock underneath, we don't want there to be pools of water on there. So now we're just going to let that sit for a few seconds, and we'll wait until the color seems to stop moving. Okay, it looks like it's ready. So at this point we can either remove the coffee filter and set that on a flat surface to dry, or we can leave it on our cardstock if we used that and let that sit on a flat surface to dry. I will caution you guys against using paper towels to dry these on, because I did try that earlier and the colors bled through onto the paper towel and the finished product wasn't as bright as a result, so just be careful of that. So here is what my diffusion art looks like after everything is dry. It was a little hard to peel off the coffee filter from the paper, so if you do choose that option, just be very careful and remove it gently. So next we can spray down our tray so we can move on to the next project, which is going to be our watercolor art piece. There we go, ready to go. For our second craft, we'll be making a sun catcher with watercolor paint. If you don't have paint at home, you can follow the marker method that we used in our first craft. So for this craft, we'll need the following supplies: 1 coffee filter, a plastic or metal tray, watercolor paints, a paintbrush, and a cup filled with water to rinse our brushes. If you want to add the shadow of an animal or other design to your sun catcher, you'll also need a piece of dark blue or black construction paper, a writing utensil to trace the design, scissors, and glue. So I'm going to take some yellow and start painting. I'll check back in with you in just a minute when I'm finished. Okay, it looks like I am all done painting. So this needs time to dry. So in the meantime, I can go ahead and take a piece of construction paper and start cutting out a design that I can glue in the middle of my sun catcher. All right, now that our sun catcher is finished drying, we can go ahead and start cutting out our animal cutout that we're going to then glue onto our sun catcher. So take your dark piece of construction paper. It can be dark blue, black, pretty much whatever you have at home. And you're going to lightly draw the image of the animal onto your paper with the pencil. Next, we're going to cut out this image. And if you need the help of an adult, please ask. I've went ahead and cut out mine already. So what do you think this is? It's a fox. It's one of my favorite animals. So I'm going to take this and using my glue stick, I'm going to stick it on there. Okay, so you might want to let that dry for a little bit. And then next we can go ahead and tape it up onto a window and let the sun shine through. And here's the finished product. Just hang the sun catcher inside the house on a window using Scotch tape. If you want the shadow cutout to be visible to people outside the house, tape that side against the window. If you want it visible from inside the house, make sure the shadow is facing toward you. For our third and final craft, we'll be making colorful coffee filter flowers using 1 to 4 coffee filters that we have already colored with markers or watercolor paint and let dry. We will also need 1 pipe cleaner per flower. If you don't have pipe cleaners, that's totally fine. You can use a stapler or tape for the pipe cleaner step. Before we begin, I just wanted to show you guys what each of the different flowers will look like depending on the number of coffee filters you use. So from left to right, here are flowers made with 1, 2, 3, and 4 coffee filters. The more filters you use, the thicker and fuller your flower will be. Okay, so I have my 3 coffee filters here, and they've all been colored and dried. So now, I'm just going to line them up the way I want them to sit in the flower. And my first step is going to be to fold it in half. My second step is going to be to fold it in half one more time. Okay. Now here's the slightly tricky part, but I think showing you will probably help. Okay, now that it's been folded 2 times, we're going to act like we're going to fold it a 3rd time, but instead of doing that, we're going to take this top part and fold it back on itself. And make sure this part is all straightened out to make sort of a triangle shape. And we're gonna flatten that out and make a fold there. And we're going to flip it over and do the same exact thing with this flap and just fold it back on itself. And now you just flatten that out. And we have this sort of triangular sliver shape. So this is going to be our flower. And as you can see, kind of has a zigzag shape that we're going to fluff out. But before we do that, we want to take either our pipe cleaner, or if you don't have that at home, just take maybe some staples or some tape, and you're going to secure this flower kind of maybe about 1.5 inches up, so that when the flower opens up, it stays together. So I will show you how to do that with a pipe cleaner. I'm gonna go right about here and start tightening that and winding it around to the bottom. Okay, so at this point, we're just going to gently peel apart the layers of our coffee filter. As you can see, as we open it up, we see all of those different colors shining through. I think for me, I'm pretty happy with that. So this is how our flower looks now. And if you wanted your flower to be all colors of pinks, you can use the paint or the markers and just use like one color family, like pinks, reds, oranges, yellows, or you can do greens, blues, purples, all within the same color family. So when you create your flower, you have complementary colors instead of this crazy tie-dye mess, but I kind of like it. Thank you guys so much for watching and for crafting along with me. I hope you got to try out one or all of these crafts, and I wish I could see all the creative spins you put on your artwork. From all of us here at the library, we miss you so much and we can't wait until we can see you again. Bye for now.